There is a scene in the 1984 documentary, The Gaza Ghetto, that has stayed with me and now increasingly informs my understanding of the perceptions about Palestinians, especially of the Israeli soldiers. And that's what I would like to talk about today. Gaza Ghetto is a 1984 documentary produced by Joan Mendel, P. Holmquist, and Pierre Bjorklund. And the documentary actually was the first of its kind, the actual footage of life in Gaza with some interviews of some major military commanders and even Ariel Sharon. But it basically tells the story of 3 generations of a Palestinian family and their lives in Gaza. During the documentary, we learn about the family's history. They even try to go and visit the erased site of their village. And what comes across clearly is how the older generations are trying to pass on to the younger generations the knowledge of the places where they used to live. But there is this one particular scene in the documentary that has stayed with me. And I go back to it now that I have started re-engaging with Gaza and with the Palestinian struggle. The documentary makers get a chance to talk to an Israeli soldier. If you look at that soldier, he obviously is a reservist. He is unkempt, his hair is long, he's smoking cigarettes, and he's standing atop a building on a roof. And he's looking down on a Gaza City street, which of course is the street of a refugee camp. And the interviewer asks him about what does he think of the people down there. And his answer is, well, if this is how these people want to live their lives, it's up to them. And that answer is really instructive today, because what it tells us is that that soldier standing there with the view from above thinks that these people who live there, and the disdain with which he mentions these people, right, already tells us how he views them in terms of their humanity. But the soldier, to him, it seems as if living like that is a choice that those Palestinians have made. There is no acknowledgement, of course, or no knowledge maybe, that the very conditions in which those people are living have been perpetuated by the state whose representative this soldier is. And I've often gone back to that scene because it shows me how callousness towards the others can be so normalized that you start seeing your own complicity in the process of reducing a people to a life which you think they have chosen. Now, Gaza Ghetto was made in 1984. We are in a much worse situation now. First of all, the bombing of Gaza right now is intense and more destructive and indiscriminatory. It is targeting hospitals, schools, civilians, aid agencies. But I think the soldiers involved in this war are also different. Their actions are more brutal. Their actions are more callous. So callous that they themselves have filmed incriminating videos of dehumanizing things and posted them on social media as a matter of pride. How many times have you seen a picture or a video of a young Israeli soldier with a Palestinian captive right next to them with their hands tied? Who does that? Which professional army ever does that? But these soldiers are doing it, right? Taking pride in it. We have seen videos of soldiers sitting on children's swings at a school that they probably have destroyed, right? And of course, self reported footage of the surrounding young kids and terrifying. So when I go back to that soldier in the 1984 documentary, The Gaza Ghetto, compared to what we are seeing now, that person, even though he could have been a racist, maybe he was tired of his deployment, his response comes across comparatively as more human to me than what we are seeing right now. And I reflect on these things. When people behave a certain way towards other people, as a scholar, yes, I feel about it, but then I also try to understand it. And for me, understanding the actions of Israeli soldiers in this war, of course, could be understood with the anger that they have at Hamas. But more importantly, it can also be related to how they've been trained. What do they think of Palestinians? Do they think of them as fully realized human beings with the rights that other human beings enjoy? Or are their views of Palestinians are racialized and they don't even consider them as fully human? And I think it's the latter that is the case. And it's something that has been explored, but that needs to be explored further. Because if you train an army, most exquisitely equipped army in the Middle East, and give them a way of seeing the world and people opposed to them as less than human, then their actions, of course, are going to be transgressive and brutal. And if you give them a sense or an idea that no one in the world can say anything or stop them or point it out, then it gets even worse. Then it's a recipe for a kind of armed force that is not accountable to any authority in the world and that can justify any actions. So that soldier from 1984 from the movie Gaza Ghetto probably could have not committed the acts that these soldiers are committing. Not saying he was noble and these people are not, but the reason I'm saying is that he was disinterested in the job, tired of it. Whereas what we are seeing now, these young soldiers marching into the houses, have gone through 30 years of occupation of West Bank and Gaza. They are used to entering a Palestinian house and doing whatever they want without any legal repercussions. These are different breed of soldiers. And if this is what Israel is marshalling to launch an assault on Gaza and destroy Gaza, then this is the beast that will turn on itself. You cannot have an armed force that has no qualms about killing and brutalizing whosoever their enemy is, in this case, the Palestinian people. You cannot have a group of people who are indoctrinated to a point where they stop seeing others as humans and not have the same thing tear down the fabric of your own society, especially if your society is already highly militarized and where military has a lot of influence. So these are just some of my tentative thoughts. I do hope to develop some more resources and videos on the conduct of the Israeli armed forces, but I am in the process of researching that. But I thought I should share with you this reflective piece about what's happening in Gaza and Palestine right now, and how do I view the actions of the Israeli armed forces. If you have some time, I highly recommend the Gaza Ghetto. Please do watch it. It is one of the most significant early documentaries on Gaza, which was filmed in Gaza. And if you have some more time, do check out this playlist on Palestine. And do share your ideas, comments, and suggestions with me. As always, I'll try to respond to them, and I'm deeply grateful for your support and for you standing in solidarity with the Palestinian people. Thank you so much. Stay safe, take care, and as always, peace and love.